This morning, crowds are returning to Bourbon Street as the investigation into the street's deadly attack continues. Authorities are now saying the man who drove a truck through crowds celebrating the new year on Wednesday acted alone. New information revealing just after midnight on the morning of the attack, Shamsuddin Jabbar placed 2 improvised explosive devices in coolers in the French Quarter. The investigation into this attack will likely take a while because of a large amount of evidence across 2 states. There are 3 big things investigators will be taking a look at. First, our sister station in New Orleans was told by experts that the FBI is likely going to reverse engineer the bombs that were found in the French Quarter and in the attacker's car to figure out how they were built. Second, they'll be looking at his electronics, combing through the 3 cell phones and 2 laptops that were seized, all to get more insight into his motive and planning for the attack. The FBI is also currently combing through hours of surveillance video, trying to track his movements leading up to the attack. And third, the physical evidence will help tell the story. That's what's found in his truck, his home in Houston, and the home rented in New Orleans, which we already know included bomb-making material. And the FBI did release new photos. Now, this is our first look at the suspect in the hours before the attack on Bourbon Street, and also a photo of a cooler that the FBI says had a bomb inside and was placed in the French Quarter before the attack. It's been just over 48 hours since the attack, and 14 families are mourning the loss of loved ones. At this point, officials have been able to identify 10 of the 14 people killed, including 27-year-old mom Nicole Perez and 25-year-old Matthew Tenedorio. Now, he worked at the Superdome, our sister station in New Orleans, spoke with his mother, who says the feelings are unimaginable.
Nothing prepares you for anything like this, losing your child. And, you know, you hope you can hold on to them till they get old and you die and they live on, but that's not God's will sometimes. And you just have to accept it and be strong for other people.
Kathy encourages all families to hold on to their loved ones and cherish every second you have left. There are still 4 victims whose identities have yet to be confirmed. Restaurants in Houston, where the attacker is from, are standing for New Orleans and are working to support those directly impacted by the tragedy. Restaurant owners saying they are collecting donations to send to charities and victims' families.
Seeing that atrocious terrorist activity that happened in New Orleans, they just stepped up to the plate.
This terrorist individual, he's not Houston. He doesn't represent Houston. We are Houston. Let's show them what Houston is about. Everybody all right?
There is a way for you to help from home. Both restaurants are also conducting virtual fundraisers. You can find that information on the restaurant's Instagram pages. Those are at the bottom of your screen. We are continuing to keep learning more about the history and possible motives for U.S. Army veteran Shamsuddin Jabbar, who launched an attack in the name of the Islamic State. Now, our sister station in New Orleans interviewed some of Jabbar's former Army comrades. WWL's David Hammer brings us the details.
Just hours after the attack on Wednesday, I spoke with Trevor Neal, who trained with Shamsuddin Jabbar in the Army Signal Corps back in 2010. Thursday, he made a TikTok video to share his feelings after learning his friend was the suspect in the Bourbon Street terror attack.
So for 28 weeks in Fort Gordon, Sham was my friend. There was nothing out of the ordinary from him. You know, he was a cool, chill guy.
Peter Heap was another soldier in that same IT training class. He told me Jabbar started writing pro-Islamic posts on Facebook.
I think sometime between when I knew him and now, he got radicalized.
Now we're learning about Jabbar's mounting personal and financial difficulties that may have pushed him to the breaking point. Records from Texas and Georgia show Jabbar was divorced 3 times, in 2012, in 2016, and the last time in 2020. That last case was very contentious. Financial records from 2022 show Jabbar with mounting debts, and his ex-wife alleged he committed fraud in payments to her and their child. Jabbar told his ex-wife's attorney he was facing foreclosure. Then, a year and a half ago, Jabbar moved into this compound in Houston, in a tight-knit community of devout Muslims. But neighbors said he did not attend the nearby mosque. Thursday morning, a neighbor who did not want to be shown on camera talked to our sister station, KHOU.
When he comes in, he was Muslim. As a Muslim, I didn't know what happened to him before. I didn't know anything before, what his background was. I was in the military. I learned anything just everybody else learning as well.
The FBI Deputy Assistant Director Christopher Reyes says that sometime before this summer, Jabbar started professing allegiance to the Islamic State terror group ISIS, and they want to know why.
That's the stuff in the coming days as far as that path to radicalization that we're really going to be digging into and making a priority.
Reyes said Jabbar rented the white pickup truck used in the attack, drove it from Houston to New Orleans on New Year's Eve, and posted 5 videos between 1:29 and 3:02 in the morning.
In the first video, Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers.
At 3:15 a.m., Jabbar drove the truck with an ISIS flag mounted on the hitch and plowed through the Bourbon Street crowd, killing 14 and injuring about 3 dozen more. And when he exchanged gunfire with police, Jabbar was the 15th to die. It was an inexplicable turn for Jabbar's former Army comrades.
So what you cared about just takes a left turn like that.
David Hammer, WWL, Louisiana.